SwissBorg is the official partner of my channel where you can buy, sell, hold, and more importantly stake your cryptocurrencies. You can even earn yield on your stablecoins. Sign up with my link and you'll earn up to $100 worth of their native token CHSB just for depositing €50 worth of crypto. SwissBorg. Hello everybody, I'm back. Sometimes, you just got to deal with family stuff and drop everything. So it's been okay, it's been alright, it's not been all bad, but yeah, family matters needed to be taken care of, but it was also nice to see everybody again. So right, this is probably going to end up being a reasonably long video, even though we're going to be looking at the same old stuff that we normally do. So we'll start, I suppose, with Bitcoin itself, really. We're a better place to start. So if we just start on the daily, we can see that since I went away, really, there's really not been much change. It's basically been the same as it was when I made that last video some point last week, when it was, what, Thursday or something? So we're on Tuesday now. Monday, Sunday, Saturday, Friday. Basically the same. So far, though, we've had a bit of a move down towards 16,000. It got bought back up at a flat number as well. So buyers stepping in at round numbers rather than particular areas of support. So I wouldn't say that that's massively bullish, but people are prepared to, I suppose, accumulate at this kind of rough low zone. If we also zoom out, we can see that this giant trend line here dictates the top of here, the top of here, and then what could have been basically not, I wouldn't say a breakout, but a change of behavior if it wasn't for FTX bringing us back down within the triangle. So now we've crept out of the triangle again. This will happen more and more as we go back into the triangle, if and when we go back into the triangle, because the triangle basically leads us to zero eventually. So it's going to keep happening. But once you creep out of one of these triangles, you could consider it to be a breakout. I just like to think a bit more along the lines of a change of behavior. So resistance basically being broken ever so slightly. But again, we were excited when this happened because this was in line with the everything bounce 2.0 with stocks and everything basically moving up. As the Dixie got rejected, we were very excited to see that, but Black Swans come along and they change the direction of the chart despite what everything else does. Everything bounce 2.0 was great, but FTX decided that they didn't want to take part in that, and they drove crypto down. So we've broken out again, if you want to call it that. We have broken out again, but I wouldn't call this anything amazing because we've been struggling with this 10 exponential since we've I suppose broken out every day really. 10 exponential currently sits around 16,500, which is basically more or less where we are right now. Now, if we were to reclaim that zone, then the next one would be your 21 exponential, which currently sits around 17,000. And if that, for whatever reason, breaks, then we would probably move straight up to 18,000. So leaps by $1,000. Again, if people are willing to buy at round numbers at the bottom here, they're probably willing to sell at round numbers at here and here as well. So they're not just backed up by moving averages and boxes of support. They're also round numbers for those who like them, because lots of people do. Momentum seems to be okay as far as I can see here. There's no bearish divergence on the higher term time frames. In fact, you could make the case that there is bullish divergence on the daily here, with these two lows and higher lows being set on money flow index and on RSI with a fresh cross, although being way below the 0 point. So we're not looking for anything bullish, massive bullish. This doesn't signify anything that's going to shoot right up to the moon or anything like that, but it does show that buyers have stepped in and momentum might be looking to continue with this direction. So even though we are on very shaky ground, and I'll show you traditional markets in a moment as well, which is only going to emphasize the fear factor of this price right now. If it wasn't for everything else that I'm going to show you, this does look quite encouraging. So still sticking with Bitcoin, go to the 4 hourly. We do have a little tiny turning up of momentum on the 4 hourly, but it's not great. Still have that bullish divergence on the 4 hourly here, which is fine. Only 2 drives of it though, so let's not get too excited. MACD's neither here nor there, but it is floating around the 0 point at the moment. So this does look like, on this very short term time frame being the 4 hourly, that something might give for the bulls. If we can sustain this price level or a little higher, then those areas that we've spoke about might get met. So we're talking 17,000, 18,000 thereabouts, and then we'll probably get a rejection from there because the overall direction is clearly down. And traditional markets, as I'll show you shortly, look like they're still waiting for a rejection from these levels. But the good old itchy cloud, right? So this is going to take a little bit of imagination. So blue crossing the red to the bearish zone over here. So we've not created a short signal, and we are back above the cloud, but we don't have a positive cross, so we don't have a bullish signal, not quite yet. What we'd be looking for here would be for, again, same as I said with the moving averages and momentum, price to be sustained above basically 16,500 would probably do it over a period of days, though. We would be looking for the blue to cross the red above the cloud to create a trend signal. But again, we don't have these, but these are some things that we're looking to focus on. Cheeky span in this instance would need to close above price action. So if we don't do it, over the next few days, which would require prices of around 16,500. Again, it's a magical number, and we need to be at or above that for a few days in order for this signal to even have a chance of being formed. But 16,500 is a big deal, not just for moving averages, but also for potential trend signals to form on the 4-hourly. Which again, trend signals on a 4-hourly can do okay, but we're not looking for huge moon boy moves or anything. 17,000, 18,000, we'll see where we go from there. And again, crossing towards the 0 point, which is, again, it hasn't quite happened yet. It would take a few more days at this level or above to break bullish. So for the moment, we have to respect that we are more or less at resistance on these higher term time frames, and the trend is still clearly down despite this measly breakout that we've had recently from this trend line, which again is long standing, over a year long now. We're still battling with it again. So there is reason to be hopeful about what could happen, but we're on thin ice, I would say, very, very thin ice. I would probably favour the general trend, which is down, over the potential flipping of these areas of 16,500 to move up to 18,000. I'll probably still favour the downside, which is why I'm happy to stay on the sidelines when it comes to crypto. Still, even at this level, just because the moves up probably wouldn't be more than 18,000, and the moves down are more significant. So on a risk to reward basis, when the signals aren't, the bullish signals aren't quite in yet, there is a shifting of momentum, but there's no actual bullish signals. It's not worth getting into a position when the risk outweighs the reward, really. So things haven't quite turned around, not quite yet. And even if they do turn around on the 4-hourly time frame, it's probably not going to be massive. It's probably not going to be massive. So that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Not too different to how it was on my last video on Thursday. So overall, have to respect the general direction of the trend, which is down. But there is, over this next few days, a chance that we do get given some signals that could give us a move. And again, it's a $2,000 move from where we are right now to the top area. So we're talking like a short of a 10% move from this price action. But I wouldn't want to get a position in right now, even though there is a chance that could happen. But it's not provided on the chart yet. We're at the very early stages of making a setup which could lead into that move, but would need a couple more days, like I say, to confirm that. So let's have a look at what's going on in traditional markets. So Euro actually hit that, more or less that target. So this is a weekly. They hit the 50 exponential. That's fine. That's where I would have more or less said that this would have reached a natural top before a deeper consolidation. The consolidation at this point, we're going to have to take it to a daily, but it's still the same as it was when we were talking about 102 or 103. We don't want to see those areas being broken. 102.1 is currently the Bollinger Band center, so there is hope that we actually do form a trend at this level. But really, if we're going to bounce, we kind of have to bounce around now and make our way to the next level, which is 106. We're asking quite a lot of the euro, which is a bit of a weak a weak currency, obviously, compared to the dollar, which is obviously there's still a powerhouse, and you've got to be bullish on the Dixie. You just generally have to be bullish on the Dixie. We got the Dixie top, and we've more or less reached our major area of support, which has been front run by to the tune of basically 0.7%. So all of this has more or less filled or fulfilled. We've not. It can go down a little bit further in the short term over this week and next week. It certainly can, but we are really looking at bouncy territory now on dollar, which would impact euro, pound, obviously Dixie, and then by default traditional markets like S&P. S&P still within its descending triangle. Whether you class this triangle from moving averages or any one of these areas of support where we speculate that we could come down to, we're still within the in the downtrend. Resistance. So far, we've not quite hit that, but no big deal. No big deal. Like I said, there's still a little wiggle room with the Dixie. There's still a little wiggle room with Euro, and there would also be for Bitcoin and traditional markets. So, like I say, we could still move up to the top of this trend line, and we could break out. Of course, we could. But at the moment, respect the general direction of the trend, which is still down. Now, I've said, and I still, happy to say it, that this area here could be the absolute low for traditional markets. And so what we might end up seeing now would be something along these lines over this year or so into next year. There's your 200 exponential moving average, and we find ourselves a breakout at some point down the line next year. That's quite likely, and so maybe you could see another double bottoming area of that wick, maybe. So, like I said, I'm not sold on it, but I think there is reason to believe that this could be the low for traditional markets, and we're not going to have that super hard landing that people were referring to. We had favourable CPI and PPI numbers from America. I'm not saying they're going to ease off with their rate hike, but they might. But if I was in their shoes, I probably wouldn't. To be honest with you, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably continue to kick inflation down the stairs just to make sure that it's sorted. Because that is a bigger problem than anything else. The stocks and everything will recover. They always will recover. But an economy and inflation, that opens up a big can of worms that could basically absorb an economy into a big black hole. So there is a bigger problem, and one that needs the most attention. So I know it's annoying for all of us who like to trade these markets, and we have to sit and listen to these old men and ladies talking about rate hikes or whatever, and what it is they're going to do next. But I appreciate what it is that they're trying to do. And if they continue to do 75 whatever, I'm not bothered. It's better that they do that, because if you don't do that, it would impact everybody a hell of a lot worse than basically a bear market in stocks. It's not a problem. Right, so in a nutshell, we're more or less the same place as we were last time I made a video. The market has been static. All markets are static. They're not really forging any particular signal other than continuation of the downtrend at the moment. Traditional markets could easily have put in their lows, so that would only help Bitcoin find its low shortly if it hasn't already. But crypto and Bitcoin is definitely the weakest of the lot, but extremely vulnerable. We're literally talking about walking around with on a cold day, butt naked, vulnerable. That's what crypto is like at the moment. And there's nothing to suggest that we're looking for a breakout on traditional markets either. And we're also looking for a bounce on Dixie and a possible rejection on Euro, which is obviously going to reflect on the Dixie. So I don't really see any reason to be bullish today, but there is, if we can sustain for Bitcoin specifically, if we can sustain 16,500 or higher, close there, especially on a 4-hourly over the next few days, enough for us to get that signal on the Itchy Cloud, then move up to 17 and potentially 18, and back into this box, maybe 18,500. Is not off the table. In fact, I think at that point it would be reasonably likely that we would get a move like that. But for the moment, it is a watching and waiting kind of game. The signals haven't quite got to where they need to be to warrant any kind of major position in crypto right now. And that's just Bitcoin. So we're supposed to do a live stream tonight for Patreon members. It is a World Cup England versus Wales game, so you'll have to let me know if that's something that you want me to continue to go ahead with. Otherwise, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll leave messages on the Patreon, Telegram, and maybe we'll have a poll, see if it's something that anyone's interested in doing it anyway. But other than that, I hope you have a nice day and take it easy.